guys, we're going to be doing the first oil change service on our ALFA ROMEO Stelvio TI Sport 2.0 liter turbo. I actually thought this was going to be a little bit easier, kind of like my Quadrifoglio. I was going to try to suck it out from the top and not to deal with the drain plug, but that is not happening. So just show you guys right here. So the oil filter is nowhere to be found when you're looking inside the engine compartment. We're going to have to remove the underbelly tray to get access to it, and then we'll also do a drain from there as well. Also, it's pretty tight to get in here to undo the cap and to get the oil, so we're going to have to definitely use a funnel and be very careful not to make a mess. But so far we got over 3,000 miles. Absolutely love it. We love driving it every day. It's the handling, the fun factor. It just soaks up New York City unbelievably. The chassis is superb. So being that we got to go under the car, even though it's a lifted vehicle a little bit higher, going to have to get it up a little bit taller using my wood service stands. I'm going to show you guys here. We're going to go and we're going to jack it up. There's plastic inserts underneath the body. We're going to jack it up. I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to do one wheel, add that to the video. As far as what we're going to do with the oil, got the AMSOIL Signature Dero W30. This is what we're going to be using. I have a Mopar filter and I have a Mali filter. I don't know which one I'm going to use yet. I don't really think it matters, but this is the oil I'm going to use. This stuff is the best, especially for a turbocharged engine. It's going to eliminate oil burning. It's going to give better lubrication for the turbos, especially under the high heat scenarios and the way I'm driving this thing on a regular basis. So this is what we're using. This far exceeds the spec for the oil recommended on these cars. And like I said, this oil, they're recommending it could last for over 25,000 miles. And this will definitely be good for a year. So I won't have to do this oil change again till September of 2020. So let's get the camera. We're gonna get this thing started right now. Okay, so here we go. Once you get the vehicle high enough, you just line up your stand, and I promise I will do a video on these soon. Just like that. So you can see it there. Just line it up, kick it into position. And you can see we got plenty of meat on the tire. Lower the jack. Now the vehicle's not going anywhere, so let's move over to the other side. These are the same stands that I used to do the full exhaust system. So you want to make sure the car is always safely up in the air. You're not going to be able to do this unless you do what I just showed you. There's nowhere under the car to put jack stands. So now we're just going to get under the bottom of the car. We're going to spend some time carefully removing the underbelly tray. So we're on the bottom of the Stelvio. So there is a panel. This whole panel is going to have to come out because the oil filter is back there. And there's absolutely no access panel. Believe it or not, this is really interesting. This is one of the very first cars, new cars that I've worked on that does not have an access panel to get the oil filter down from below. So it's actually a little bit bothersome, but we got some, these look like they're Torx. These are Torx screws, same hardware that's used on Ferraris and Maseratis on the lower belly pan. So we're gonna have to undo quite a few of them, and we're gonna have to carefully get this panel completely out. We're gonna have to do all these screws here and make sure we don't strip them. So let me go grab my my tools, and then we're gonna get this started for you. All right, guys. So the Torx bit that you're gonna need is a what is this? A T30, Torx 30. So my right angle little Makita is not charged, so I'm gonna have to use my impact, and I'm gonna have to go careful. So we're just gonna go through nice and easy. I'm gonna put the hardware down. Nice and easy. You don't want to kill it. These come out relatively easy. Okay, we got those out. Let's get... There's a lot of them. This is the hardest part of the oil change. It's just sitting there getting all of these bolts out. Now, the Torx screws are the same bit along this leading edge towards the front bumper. You don't want to take them out over here. This panel is going to stay in place most likely. So we're just going to carefully go down the line. And this is a smaller head than the rest of the screws that are on the panel. Okay, we'll put those over there. Alright, so you see that small Torx screw right there? There's one on the left, one on the right in the front, and there's two in the rear. So these are a T25, I believe. I tell you, they definitely don't make this very DIY, but it's actually relatively easy. Alright guys, so I just got the belly pan completely off, and you can see that is the pile of hardware that had to come off to get this stupid thing off. But actually, like I said, it's relatively easy. These are the ones in the rear, the very rear. These are not a machine screw. You can see that there looks like a screw for plastic with a very large washer. These go in the rear. And these are the ones for the front, towards the front of the bumper. And then these are the ones that I just showed you towards the front as well. So just, you know, pay attention to what you're doing. Just so you don't make mistakes. You could just always take photos along the way with your cell phone. So, just looking under the vehicle, you can see this is the full aluminum subframe. That's why this thing is so damn good. You can see the EPS power steering unit. And back here is where the oil filter is hiding. You see that there? So, they do not give you a nice access point for it. And that's that. So, we're going to let this cool down a little bit because the car's been driven for a few hours. And then I am going to drain the oil, and then we're going to pull the filter out and get this oil change knocked out. And of course the hardest part is going to be putting the pan back by myself, but it's pretty cool stuff. If you look under here, look at how nice the aluminum welds are. You know, really good penetration, really nice weld beads. And I think that's really important in manufacturing. So they definitely are doing the right thing at the ALFA ROMEO factory in Cassino, Italy. Very, very nice. No slag, no pock marks. Like, they have their machine set up totally right. Really good weld quality. That's impressive. Because believe it or not, on a lot of Ferraris, the weld quality, if you ever taken a Ferrari apart, it's pretty damn disgusting. But that's just the way they're done. So let's let this car cool off, and we'll get this oil change done. Galvanized Blitz tray on the floor. I just hope that this does not spray out all over me and get all over my driveway, but it's a 13 millimeter. Sorry about that. And we're going to slowly get the drain plug off the bottom. Alright, you ready? Here we go. So I got the crankcase fully drained out. I'm just going to reinstall the drain plug. I put a new washer on the bolt. I actually bought that from the dealer. Just clean up over here. So as the oil came out, it did make a little bit of a mess because it missed the pan, but not a huge deal. I'll just clean that up. And you're going to snug that down. You don't want to kill it because you're going into aluminum. Now we got to get this oil filter off, which is right up here. We're just going to carefully get this off. All right, here we go. So let it drain out a little bit before you pull it off. Otherwise, you're going to get hot oil down your sleeve. You know, it's really interesting too, this 0W30 is like water. I am not sure why that's the oil that they chose for an engine with a turbo, but I guess they know what they're doing. They engineered it that way. But that's just how it is. Okay, so you want to wear gloves when you do this. It's going to be almost like half a quart of oil that'll be stored in that filter, and considering the angle we're at here, it's just going to have a tendency to get all over you. So once you get to a point where there's no more pouring out and dripping, then you can just safely unscrew it by hand. That's it. So I pre-lubricated the O-ring on the oil filter. We're just going to spin this on right now. So I mean, like I said, it's a pretty painless thing. If you want to do it yourself, it's relatively easy. I definitely recommend taking your time. You know, it took about 10 minutes to get all the bolts out and the panel out from the bottom. And we had a little bit of a spill because the oil decided to shoot out. But other than that, it's not a huge deal. And make sure you don't want to over tighten this, then it'll seize up. And then we'll have another problem. So that's it, guys. So let me get the drain pan and everything out from under the car. We're going to put the panel back on, and we're going to just load this up with oil and check the levels. And that is the Stelvio oil change. Done in under 25 minutes. That's it, guys. We got the bottom buttoned up. Everything went nice and smooth getting the panel in. All the hardware lined up nice and easy. And that's why I prefer to do oil changes myself, especially when the dealers strip the hardware and cause a mess, and they just don't care because it's not their car. So, being that this car has a strut tower brace, had to use a different funnel to get the oil in, but this seems to just work just fine. And I'm going to put 5 quarts in. We're going to cap it off. We're going to start it up, let it warm up to temp. Then we're going to check the levels, and then we'll top off as needed. This engine's also a little interesting how the oil cap is part of the engine, whereas most of them, they're on the left or the right side of the valve cover. You can kind of just plop a funnel in there. This one's done a little differently, where you got to take, if you want, the whole engine cover could come out. You got to take out 2 10mm bolts, and it comes out from the top. So according to the oil level on the instrument cluster in the dash, it said the level was low, so I put the full 6, about 5.8 quarts in. There is no dipstick on this engine, which actually drives me insane. I don't like cars that don't have dipsticks, but I'll show you really quick on the inside of the car and how to go and check the oil. All right, guys, so we're in the car, we're warming it up. So to check the oil level, you're going to use this to scroll through your menu. We're going to go to Car. You push down once. You're going to click this icon right there. And you can see it says tires. It'll give you the TPMS readings. It'll give you maintenance. That's the oil light reset and oil level. It says to get an updated reading, park the car on a flat surface. Wait 5 minutes with engine on and idling. So we're going to just sit here for 5 minutes, and I'll turn the camera back on. You can see there we're about 3/4 up the level. So we're just going to let it warm up some more. We're going to shut it off, start it back up, and we're going to see. So after waiting about 30 minutes for this oil indicator to refresh, you can see here it went up from about 60%, now it's about 95%. And once you drive the car and it refreshes a couple of times, it'll go up to 100%. So full oil change is done on the ALFA ROMEO Stelvio 2.0. Hope you guys got some tips and tricks on how to do it. First thing, get the car up in the air safely. Use the built-in plastic pucks that are part of the unibody. Just work safely. Get the panel on the bottom of the car. Torx 25, Torx 30. Very simple. Goes back in, no problem. Like I said, it's very, very easy to do. All you really need is an oil filter wrench, a drain pan. I also put a Blitz drain pan underneath the oil drain pan just so you don't get any spills in your driveway. It actually worked out pretty well for me. And then being that there's no oil dipstick. It's electronically controlled like a lot of European cars, so you can't really check your oil level. You got to go in the car, you got to start it up, you got to warm it up, shut it off, go through the menu like I just showed you, check your oil level, and you're good to go. So please like, subscribe, and share. Set your notifications so when I post a new video, you will get the notification of the video. So see you guys soon. Stay tuned to the channel for more automotive content, and please visit auto-fanatic.com, and I'll see you guys on the next video.